Good evening, ladies and gents, boys and girls. In the words of DJ Pop Wreck, grandmammies and grandpappies, welcome to another edition of the Tuesday Night Flight. I am the Midnight Rider. He's your host, the big guy KG. We're going to try to have some fun tonight, talk about some things, and try to get some input from you guys. So let's get it going.
Most definitely welcome to another edition of the Tuesday Night Flight. Trying to bring the finger guns back. I'm trying. Cross room, finger guns. Been doing it for the last 4 years and some change. You know, it's all seemed like one big blur in COVID, so it is what it is, though. How you feeling tonight, Midnight Rider?
I'm good, man. Got some things I want to talk about, man. Let's see how we get this going, man.
Yeah, I got some things too, because I gotta towards the end of the show, once we get some things out, I'm gonna let you know now. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Ah, great. There we go. That sounds like an awesome time. Sounds like fun.
This is one of them times you can't run from this.
All right.
First and foremost, let's start off with the important bit of news. NBA playoff update. As we sit right now, we got games starting in about 6 minutes. Knicks Pacers go tonight, game 5. That series is tied at 2-2. So let me ask a question and ask you this. Are you surprised that this is 2-2?
No. And we're talking Knicks Pacers, right?
Right.
Yeah, not surprised at all. The Knicks have pretty much had everybody of any kind of significance get hurt in this series or come up limping. So I think they're without Mitchell Robinson. They lost OG Anunoby, who I think is the key to that offense, the key to that team being successful. I know somebody else will say probably Dante DiVincenzo. Some might say Josh Hart. But I honestly believe that the person that makes this go is OG, because then he gives you some more height on the court. He does all the little things, defense, rebound, and slashing. So you get a little bit of everything from him. And I think that's the person they haven't been able to replace. They can't fix that situation. So right now they're struggling. And then you don't know what's going on with the foot of Brunson. So I don't know. We'll see, man. It could be, I think if Indiana wins it, I think they'll win it because the Knicks just ran out of steam.
Man, you just laid a ton of bricks on my chest and telling me to breathe. So here's a question. Well, maybe some answers. Maybe more answers than questions. You got Knicks, you got Pacers. This is a rivalry in itself. And here's the problem. The Knicks can't lose this series. I'm being honest with you. I'm being transparent. The Knicks cannot lose this series. Number one, you're the number 2 seed in the East. I mean, it may not be a big deal to some, but I think it's a big deal to New York. The Knicks have to take control tonight. And one thing they have to do is they got to play Tibbs brand basketball, where you take it with the players that you have. It don't matter who's on the floor, but those guys got to step up and seize control of this and play some defense. That's what Tibbs basketball is. It's all about defense, and it's hounding defense. So I'm hoping they can pull it out tonight, but the way you put it, man, you got me kind of scared.
Hey, man, I mean, I'm just thinking about it from the aspect of just bodies, man. I mean, I love their heart. I love the way they're playing. I just don't know if they got enough left. I mean, they've tapped like, how did somebody say it this morning? There's only so much toothpaste in the bottle, man. And I'm telling you right now, they're getting every drop. I mean, they done rolled the tube up, you know what I'm saying? Press it up against the thing, trying to get as much out. And I think they've done that already. So I don't know if there's any left, or maybe going back home rejuvenates them and gives them a whole new outlook.
Well, it should, because when you go back to the mecca of basketball, it should really rejuvenate you. And that crowd, Madison Square Garden is always electric. But playoff Madison Square Garden is a different beast, yet the same animal.
And Indiana needs to get out early.
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing. That's how they won the 2 games they did when they got out early. But if this goes 7 and it goes, down to the home team, I got the Knicks winning this in 7 if it has to. So, next up tonight, Timberwolves Nuggets in Denver, tied at 2-2. This is game 5. This right here is I can't call this a heavyweight fight, because this is more like a middleweight fight, even a bantamweight fight, when you got 2 fighters that stand in the ring and just trade blows. That's what this is. Nuggets won the last 2 games. Seemed like they kind of sort of figured out Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves. What's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, this is my series. I like the whole thing the West got going on, but I think this is going 7. I still like the Wolves. I think the Wolves. I'm sorry, not the Wolves. Yeah, we're talking about the Wolves and Nuggets. I'm sorry. My brain is all over the place today. Yeah, I like the Wolves. I think Anthony Edwards is going to will this team. He tried to will him 2 nights ago. He just needs somebody else to show up. I mean, it could be the bus driver. If the Zambroni dude is there and he got some time, I mean, they just need somebody else to give him a little bit of help, because that's been it. I think he had 40 the other night and they lost. So it's not him. He's not the problem. They got to get the big kitty cat. Yeah. The lion from the Wizard of Oz. They got to get him to play some ball.
Well, I mean, see, by us being who we are, you can't say from the Wizard of Oz, because he plays like the Cowardly Lion and the Wiz. Fleetwood, Coupe DeVille. Mama had high ideals. That's who he play like. But he need to play like Mufasa or something. If you're gonna play like a cat, you need to play like Mufasa or something. But let me say this, since you brought up Anthony Edwards. Charles Barkley said something the other night, and I agree with him. Stop calling Anthony Edwards the next Jordan. Stop calling Anthony Edwards the next this person. No, this is the first Anthony Edwards. I hate that they put these labels on players to be the next this person, the next that person, the next Kareem, the next Chamberlain. You can't put these labels on, because those are huge shoes to fill. These dudes wear a size 4 and you're asking them to fill a size 14 shoe. We can't do that. Can't do that. Jack checking in. Just a 2-piece tonight. Yeah, two-man power trip tonight. B's on special assignment. He will be back on Thursday. He ain't too happy about it, but he'll be back on Thursday. I still think the Timberwolves will win this one in 7. But here's the thing. The Timberwolves win in 7, the Knicks win in 7. Will they have enough in the conference finals to move on?
They have. I don't know what New York's going to have left. And if Boston continues to give games away like they like to, New York has a shot. They got a puncher's chance. And the Seawolves, same thing. I mean, depending on who comes from the other side, I think they have enough defense, enough dog, that they can make it difficult for whoever comes from the other side of the bracket.
Jack says Nugg's gonna win it in 7. It's gonna be a hard-fought 7. Speaking of the Celtics, and Jack just chimed in. Speaking of the Celtics, tomorrow at 7, They face the Cavaliers. They're up 3-1, so they can close this out tomorrow and go rest. I'll talk about a former Celtics player in a second. But this current Celtics team looks like they're not in for the playing around. They looking like they ready to devour and conquer at this present point. It doesn't look like they're ready to play around.
I disagree. I just think Cleveland. I mean, you signed Max Strus for all that money, and what is he giving you? Darius Garland struggles to get points as well. Your only person is really Donovan.
Yeah, he was out last game.
Yeah, so it's just like one of those things where I think it's more them messing up than Boston doing anything. Because Boston wanted to give the game away the other night down the stretch. They were just trying to hand it to him. You know, it was like duck season.
Rabbit season. Now, let me say this about a former Boston player. One, Paul Quintavious Pierce. I don't know if that's his real middle name, but I have to say this. Dude, stop hyping your career up like you was a world beater, man. You didn't win anything really until daggone 2008 when KG and Ray Allen came over. You hyping this up. Oh, I would have won 2 rings in Jordan's era. Oh, I would lock him up. Who's you locking up? Like, bro. Love Paul Pierce. I loved him at Kansas. Definitely the truth. I give him that. But this after retirement thing, Paul Pierce, man, please stop overhyping your career. Like you was just the greatest thing since an egg white omelet.
That's all the Paul Pierce stuff you have?
Oh, I could say some other things, but I didn't want to spend too much time on it.
Okay. Well, I'll say it. Paul Pierce, you gotta get your professionalism up, baby.
Hey, Key, look at this nigga.
Exactly, man. What? and Key, I mean, Skip face just was all kinds of red and mad and everything. And Key like, yo, what are we doing here? Like, what is going on?
Drop that in a bucket. That was a natural one. That brings us what, to 875? 850? 850. 850. There it is. Pin it. The other side of the West, the Mavericks versus the Thunder in OKC tomorrow night at 9:30 is tied at 2 games apiece. Kyrie Irving is and always will be a ball handling fool. The moves, everybody talks about handles and everybody talks about getting to the bucket. Like I know a lot of people talk about Jamal Crawford and things like that. And somebody said Jamal Crawford had the best handles in NBA history. Nah. You must ain't never seen Isaiah Thomas. You must ain't really watched Rod Strickland. Because now that's why I love Kyrie so much. Because I see so much Rod Strickland in him. And the way he moves with the ball and how he finishes. I always love watching Rod play, especially when he was in DC. Oh my goodness. Absolute beast. But I think we talked about it the other day. I want to say it was either Thursday or Sunday. If Kyrie takes the Batman role and Luka takes the Robin role, the Nuggets may go far. And I'm sorry, the Mavericks may go far. And if that's the case, I think the Mavericks win this one in 6. What you think?
Come on, man. You know where I've been all postseason, all preseason, all season. It's OKC, and OKC. They're another team that they just got to get some of their auxiliary guys going. I think they have to I think one person they have to get out of the lineup is Josh Giddey. I think they just need to go ahead and let him sit and go to the Ben Simmons rehab center or something, because that's where he is. He look like he's shot. He doesn't want the basketball near him. He doesn't want to dribble the basketball. He doesn't want to shoot the basketball. He just out there. And I think they need to give his minutes somewhere else. And maybe they can make it up in the aggregate. But since he's not giving you nothing or anything, like, let's move on.
Well, I'm on the other side. I say Mavericks in 6. You say OKC. I think, don't get me wrong, I think the Thunder are on the cusp, but I don't think it's time yet. I don't think they have arrived yet.
Oh, well, since we're doing show bits, I think they're one of those teams that's going to make you ask, how did you get here?
Deborah Cox. Ooh. Ooh. Jack chiming in. He said, Truth was nice, though. He's in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't a scrub. Come on, fellas. No, I'm not saying he was a scrub by no means. But him saying that he would win, if he played, well, he came out in 98. If he played pre-98, he would have won 2 rings in Jordan's era. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. He wouldn't have won 2 rings in Jordan era. Then he's talking about he would lock up Ant Edwards. He would lock up a playoff P. Like, no, you wouldn't, because you had the opportunity to lock up playoff P and you couldn't. And for what he did in his career, especially in Boston, it was him, Antoine Walker, Ron Mercer, Eric Williams, all those guys. Before 2008, I think they went to the playoffs maybe once or twice. I mean, okay, great career, Hall of Fame career, I'll give him that. But you talking about you would lock these people up, and like, you sound like the old man that sits at the basketball court and swears up and down the new hot young dude that's coming down, cooking everybody. Oh, my day, I would have locked him up. No, you wouldn't. You would have got cooked too. Like,
go ahead.
It makes no sense to me.
Just make it 875. Come on.
What are we doing here?
Here we go. That comes from a good space, man. Just gotta let it out sometimes. Every now and then. That was organic too. It was just sitting right there, waiting for you to say it.
I hate to hear him say that, because it's like, but he's not the only one that does it. What's his name?
Stack Jack.
That's another one. Oh, I would have did this. I was this. If they wouldn't have traded me, I would have did what they did trade you. His famous line is, "Oh, I played the game. Y'all never played the game before." Dog, you played at the highest level. Great. Absolutely magnificent. Now you sit behind a mic and you act like you had a Hall of Fame career. Please stop. You were a journeyman at best. A good journeyman. I'll say you were an elite level journeyman, but you were a journeyman at best. Stop it. Oh, we did this and we did that. No. Okay, you got a ring riding in San Antonio with Timmy and Tony Parker and Ginobili. You say you had a bet? You better than Ginobili?
Wormhole.
In what world?
Wormhole.
I mean, I'm just calling out. Hey, call a spade a spade. I'm calling it all out.
Nah,
So I'm gonna call one out. I'm gonna show you I'm not biased. I'm gonna call the other one out. And these are players that I actually love, that I'm calling out. I have the heart to call out players that I love. Steven Jackson, Jamal Crawford. I love me some Jamal Crawford. That's my guy. Wish he never left Chicago. But these once you retire, you overinflate your career. Please stop that. Especially now, we can go back and look at the tape of every game you played. Please stop. Moving right along. Sunday, we had the NBA draft lottery. Some things happened. Locally, the Wiz kids get the number 2 pick. Number 1 overall pick goes to the Atlanta Hawks. Midnight Rider. How do you feel about the Atlanta Hawks winning the draft lottery will probably one of the worst percentages to win it.
Well, I think first and foremost, I think it's the first time that the Atlanta Hawks have had the first overall pick and won and what I mean by that, by way of the lottery. I don't know. You might have more information back in the 70s if they had the first pick or not, but in the lottery days, this was their first time being awarded the first pick. I think it's tough when you don't have a consensus. So now it comes down to just a word I like to use. What's your type? What's your fit? Who's going to be that guy? Right now, I think everybody keeps talking about the kid Sarr as the semi-consensus. Maybe he's not the consensus. He's the majority leader in the house. So we'll see if that happens. There's a couple other kids that they've talked about. So who knows? This may or may not be the year for it. But we're drafting kids so young that you can't grade a draft in 2 years. You got to wait 5 years, almost 6, just to get a good view on it. Because most of these guys don't come into their own until like year 5 or 6. A lot of these guys don't come out and play right away. They have a good first year, like Koulibaly, the young fundamentals, as I call them, young funds. He's one of those guys that you're going to see his game elevate next year, and then in another year he's going to elevate again. And then you're also going to see his body change because the Wizards have done one thing that I like is they have a program, and they have all these guys in the program, and you're going to see a different Denny Advia next year. So if you're looking for somebody to be like most improved player, I throw Denny Advia's name on my list.
I think I'd throw Corey Kispert on that list too. I think Corey Kispert, under a better coaching regime and maybe a little bit more free flowing, you'll see a better Corey Kispert because the dude can bowl. He can bowl. Perry checking in. Gentlemen, how you doing? New York in the house. Stand up. Put your Timbs on, baby.
Go ahead.
See Perry here. Perry, know if you going to the next game, you wearing Timbs, you wearing Butters, right, Perry? Please enlighten the Midnight Rider. You gonna put your Timbs on? It's got to be Butters. None of that other stuff.
Oh, it was BJ that had the other versions. My bad.
Yeah, he wanted glazed donut Butters. No, we don't do those. Here's a question: is there a better way to do the lottery? Because it seems that Atlanta only had a 3% chance of winning the number 1 pick, and that 3% chance hit. There's got to be a better way, because I remember at one point in time, if you had a 3% chance, you didn't get over 8. Go ahead.
You are a professor. Why are we always rewarding bad teams, or why are we letting these teams into this thing? This is their thing. It's the lottery. If they got 3% and they win, it's the point of gambling. It's the point of the risk. Like, okay. It's the point of it all, as Anthony Hamilton would say.
I knew you was going there. I wasn't going to swing though.
But that's it. You lost. We put them in the names in the hat, and we figured it out. The place that I'm most upset with is the Detroit Pistons coming out crying because they got 5.
You've been a lottery team for how many years now?
Right. Yes, this is the second year or maybe the third year you've gone from worst to 5th. So what? Draft better. What more you want? Your starting 5 is all top 5 picks.
Now,
and make it $9. What are we doing here? It doesn't make sense. It's you got 5 guys, top 5 talent, but you can't win more than 14 games. You want a participation trophy and the first pick because you can't manage your team, you can't coach your team properly, your players won't play.
Now,
this isn't the part of the show that was going to run on a rampage.
No, it's not. But now here's a question. Well, more of a statement than a question. You said it's a part of winning the lottery, but it used to be. Remember, they did ping pong balls, they did envelopes. So a team like Atlanta, who was in the play-in game, They played the Bulls, lost the Bulls in the play-in game. You should have one or two. If you want to go 3%, you should have 3 balls, 3 ping pong balls in there. If you have a 3% chance, a team like Detroit, San Antonio, Washington, Houston, these are bad teams. They should have more ping pong balls and more of a shot to win a top 3 pick. Houston is coming in at 3, San Antonio 4, Detroit 5, Charlotte 6, Portland 7, San Antonio again at 8, Memphis at 9, Utah at 10, Chicago at 11, OKC, which is whenever I see a playoff team with a lottery pick, I'm like, your GM forward thinking. But OKC at 12, Sacramento at 13, and Portland again at 14. We got to find a better system.
No, we don't.
You do?
No, they got a 3% chance. The sun decided to come out and shine on their ass. So what? It happens. It's the whole point of this. The whole point is so nobody can come out and just lose 15 games and lose 65 games and automatically get the first pick.
True.
That's the whole point of the lottery. That's the whole point.
Tanking. I get it. That's what the lottery was put in for, was to stop tanking. I get that. Jack says, Kispert, you make me laugh. I'm just saying, Kispert can ball. I like the cat. I like him. Here's a good segue, because a certain somebody decided to make themselves known and could possibly be the number 1 pick according to the rumor mill. LeBron James Jr. has hit the draft combine. He could go number 1 overall, which would lure his dad to Atlanta. But the Midnight Rider has something to say. So without further ado, we haven't done this. Wait.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
But I've been waiting for this.
We don't need that. It's not that worthy.
Oh man, I'm all ready for. Damn.
I told you in the pre-show. Look, Bronny declared for the draft. Bronny is staying in the draft. As a dad, I totally agree with the move. And the reason why is this kid just had a heart attack for off-season workouts with college personnel, college people looking over top of him. If I'm his father, I'm not trusting anybody at the collegiate level to get my son ready for a season, to get my son in shape, because I don't know what they're doing to get these kids in shape. I don't know what regimen they're putting them in, vitamins or whatever they're feeding these kids. So there's no reason for my son to be going to Ohio State next year to play around or go for another. No. I'd rather have him around doctors and around athletic directors, trainers that can actually know how to pace it, because we've seen this before. There are plenty of times. There was a kid the year before. He played at K-State when he came back. I can't remember where his first stop was, but he had a heart attack and he had to sit out a season and then come back and play because they had to figure it out. Like Maryland had a kid die in all-season workouts for football. So why take that risk? Like, I would rather have my son in the hands of professionals, people and I'm not saying the college trainers aren't professionals, but I'm saying that there's better facilities and there's better ways to do this. And why not have my son play in the NBA and get the best of the world? The best the world has to offer. And I think people were shooting that around that number 1 pick thing. I think some people were just trying to see if they could get some clicks. Because I think that'd be a bad move by Atlanta if they're going to do that. But, anything's possible.
Atlanta's notorious for making bad moves when it comes to personnel.
Everybody. We can say that about a bunch of clubs in the NBA.
Yeah.
Detroit. We're going to stay in that.
We talking Atlanta. Atlanta has a history of making bad moves.
All right.
This is the same team that got rid of Dominique Wilkins in his prime and sent him to the Clippers. It's the same team that had Rasheed Wallace and shipped him to Detroit. They had Antoine Walker and shipped him to Miami. Like they've had a series of bad things that they've done. So wouldn't surprise me if they do. Everybody's when you talk about Bronny, everybody's talking about, he went from being 6'4" to 6'1". Oh, he not really 6'4". Oh, okay. Charles Barkley's really not 6'6". Your point being, Charles Barkley closer to 6'3", 6'4". And we've known that for years. Your point being.
We always talk about it. The NBA tape is undefeated.
Yeah, exactly.
If we want to keep it close by, go by the incredible shrinking center. Othello Harrington was 7 feet when he got on Georgetown's campus. By the time he got to the NBA, I think he was 6'8".
Yep. Well, here's the thing. And Patrick Ewing has admitted this. He's not a 7-footer. Patrick Ewing's close to 6'10". 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, that's totally different from 6'7". 6'8". From
well, yeah, that's true. But Patrick Ewing's always been billed as 7 feet 7'1". All
right.
And it happens, but I'm like, yo, people are making such a big deal about it. And I get it because number one, the name alone is gonna cause scrutiny. Number two, it's so much hype surrounding him, and it's like, oh, well, he underperformed at USC. Well, he really didn't have a home at USC. Like, I watched a couple USC games, and I just watched how the offense flowed, and they didn't play as a team. They played as individuals.
He came off a heart attack.
Yeah. But when he got on the floor, even when he wasn't on the floor, that team played like individuals. They didn't move the ball. Now, granted, the way we play basketball as opposed to the way these kids play basketball now, totally different. We make the extra pass for the open shot. The Midnight Ride is famous for driving the lane and kicking it to the corner for the open three all day long because, he's so good in the paint. He collapses the defense, so he knows they're going to collapse on me. If somebody's going to be open in one of the corners, I'm going to get an assist. I've seen the Midnight Rider do this myself. He's come down, he's passed it, hit the shot, slap hands. That's him. That's what he does. That's a true point guard for you. Always looking for the assist. But these kids don't play like that. They play as individuals. And it's not just USC. It's a lot of college teams that play as individuals. But here's the best part about him entering the draft. If he does not get picked, he can go back to school because he has not signed with an agent. He hasn't, given up his eligibility. That's what I love about the NBA draft because if you want to test the waters,
there's a place where he has to be either or. He can't go back to college. He may be go down to the G League and play, but he can't go back to college because there's a window right before the draft starts.
But you got to take your name out.
Where you can take your name out.
Okay.
And if he doesn't do that, then he's stuck.
Okay. So I hope it comes down to a point where he takes his name out and he goes back. So I forgot about that. You do have to take your name out before the draft. Because there's a lot of players that have come up over the years and went through the whole draft process. And this is when the draft process was stupid. Because the schools, you're a senior and you supposed to be taking finals, man. You wind up failing all your finals because you running around working out for this team and that team. You got to make up your finals in summer school. So you got guys that would go back to school. They would take their name out and go back to school because, their draft position wasn't good. And they were going to be drafted 12th or 13th. They come back, they're juniors. They come back in the senior year and they wound up being a top 3 pick because they started working on their game. But I would love to see just if he goes back to school. Because I think if he goes back to school and he really balls out next season and he's able to play like he played at Sierra Canyon, and I watched all 4 years of him playing and I watched him develop, he can play.
I just don't see him going back. I don't see his dad trusting the college programs to train and get his son ready for the season.
Well, that's why his father spends over $1 million on his body and his health,
right,
and his nutrition. But
right.
shit, I guess he can't do that. Even as his parent, he can't even pay for that type of stuff for him. And if he in college,
right, because he's got to kind of follow the program of the school.
Yeah. So shoot, when you talk about between a rock and a hard place, damn. Final thought on this lottery situation. Here's a question. I brought this up to you and BJ in our private chat. You ever notice that the Wizards always get the 1 or the 2 pick in a weak draft?
See, I don't think this is going to be a weak draft. I think the problem is everybody wants there to be and the term they always love to use is the generational talent.
Yes.
Like there's not that in this draft, but we've had drafts where we've been told that the draft doesn't have talent, and then that draft still produces all-stars. So it's not, the problem isn't the draft or the draft class. The problem is, what are we doing to develop these guys to get them in position to be successful?
Here's my thing. When you have a 1, a 2, you look for somebody, I say the top 5 picks, you really look for cornerstones of your franchise. Somebody that's either going to pick up the mantle and carry it, or somebody that's going to fall in line and be when the old dogs retire, they're going to be the new dog on the block because they've learned from the old dogs, that type of thing. That's what you think of with the top 5 picks. I have to see who's in this draft, but it's no names that just jump out and be like, oh yeah, this is a consensus number 1 pick. This guy's going to be a number 1 pick. He's going to change Atlanta. He's going to do this. He's going to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. I mean, one of the most successful positions in the draft is 13.
I believe you said that on this show, on this very show, quite a few times.
And I'm a little biased because 13 is Kobe B.
Well, nobody believed the great Jerry West when he said, I gotta have this guy. So nobody believed that. Let's go ahead and move on to this next topic, and then I got a off-season topic to cover with you. WNBA starts up tonight. My phone's been buzzing, going off. Caitlin Clark already scored on the board. Where we at? We in the regular season. Come on now, get down to the regular season. Right now, the Washington Mystics are up 67-59 at the end of the third quarter over the Liberty. The Sun are beating the Fever 49-39 right about now, since we're talking about Caitlin Clark. She has 7 points and 1 assist in 15 minutes. That's about it. Speaking of the Mystics, they've moved their game against the Chicago Sky from their home arena over in Southeast. They moved it to Capital One. So they just
I mean, the good thing is hopefully these dates are available, and once the fans show that you can move certain things, I think you're gonna have a couple more of these situations where cities gonna have to move to the big arena because of the influx I think it's only, and I don't want to be ignorant in saying this, but I think the main places that's going to be impacted are the places with Caitlin, the place with Angel Reese. I don't know if everybody's going to get that same love, that same treatment.
Right.
So people, but especially ladies, you got to start supporting the product.
I'll say this. I think everybody should support the product because what's going on right now is, I like to call it a rebirth. and they were showing the very first WNBA game, June 1997. I remember that game between the LA Sparks and the New York Liberty. I remember that game vividly.
Ooh.
I had that game on VHS tape for maybe about 20 years and would watch it periodically. And I'm like, okay, everybody was all on the train. Everybody was hyped up. And then it's just kind of lulled for a minute because you didn't have that excitement. You didn't have Cynthia Cooper. You didn't have Teresa Weatherspoon and Teresa Witherspoon in New York. You know, you had talent all across the board, but it was like you didn't have that talent in every season. Talent was so diverse in the beginning. It was you saw players that you had never seen before. It was like, damn, they could ball. Like, I didn't know Andrea Stinson was as good as she was. Her, God, what's the young lady that played with the I can see her, Yolanda Griffith with the Sacramento Monarchs, ballers. We're getting back to that point now where almost every team has somebody or a few somebodies that can really ball out, and everybody's going to fall in love. Pretty soon, you're going to start seeing WNBA gear on the streets, and you're going to start being able to see them sold, and you're going to start seeing those jerseys and everything. And maybe, just maybe, I know a couple of dudes that went out and bought Sheryl Swoop's signature shoe, and it was only a woman's shoe. But I know dudes that was like, yeah, I'm buying that. I got to have it. And I actually balled in them. They was like some of the best shoes they've ever balled in. My foot was too big. I couldn't do it. But you're going to see that again. So the support has to come from all sides because they about to put on a show and the product is there. So,
you think I'm crazy? Because I got Caitlin going for 20 tonight and 6 assists. I got Skylar Diggs with 6 assists. Aja Wilson going with 25 and 10. It's probably bullish. I'm a little bullish on that one. Hey, in the words of Paul, all I could do is just I'm lighting money on fire, baby. Lighting money on fire.
Well, here's the off-season topic. And this time you cannot run from it. You have to discuss it. This is a while back. I actually did a show on this. We used to do a lot of what if episodes here at the Sideline Junkies. So this was a what if episode. And I believe the Midnight Rider listened to the what if episode, and he had a lot to say about it. Being a Laker fan, let's go back in time a little bit. I put it out there to the Midnight Rider, as well as anybody else that listen, that the 86-87 Boston Celtics would have beat the Lakers that year in the finals had Len Bias lived. The Midnight Rider does not believe so. Midnight Rider, please. I've been waiting with bated breath for quite some time, almost a year and a half, to hear your response. And why do you think the Lakers would have beaten that team? This is your time. This is your time to shine. This is where it's at, because it's
You just wanted to use that because you tried to use it earlier.
I did.
That's all that was. Because this isn't a rant. This isn't a beef.
No, but it's still
Dude, I mean, just call it arrogance. I just know my team would have beaten y'all. You'd have had Lynn, you'd have had I'm sorry, they would have beaten Boston. It didn't matter. You got two of the greatest competitors, the captain and Magic Johnson. We'd have figured it out. I'm just dead serious. It's no rhyme or reason. I believe in my team. I have no doubts, and I still think Lakers in 6.
Okay, I understand believing in your team, but even as big of a Bulls fan as I am, I know in '94, if we would have made the finals against Houston, we would have had trouble against Houston. Big
Okay.
trouble. I can admit that.
I'm not worried about that team, the Celtics. I just not.
So a Celtics team. Now this is in the fantasy land of the big guy KG. You got Bird averaged 28 that year. McHale averaged 26. Parrish averaged 17 and a half. DJ gave you 13. Ainge gave you 14. Now you add in, I'll be generous, 19 from Len Bias. A rookie Len Bias averaging 19.
But with Lynn coming in, you're losing something from somebody. Like you're not gonna have all those numbers and then still 19 from Lynn.
Well,
McHale's numbers either drop, Bird's numbers drop to normal numbers. So that's where we're talking about basketball. You can't just add a guy in and they go from scoring 107 now they're scoring 126. The math don't work like that.
But see, you got to realize that first year he would have came off the bench. He'd have been your sixth man.
Even if he came off the bench, he's probably playing 24, 25 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you that. 24, 25 minutes.
He's probably giving you 15, maybe 15 a night.
Well, Jerry Sistine was your sixth man off the bench, if I'm not mistaken. He was your sixth man off the bench. He only gave you 5.7. So I think you would have got a little bit more from Lynn with that 20 minutes right there.
Right.
I think you would have lost. Rick Carlisle wouldn't have averaged the 1.9 he averaged.
Here's the worst case scenario. We play the Celtics early in the season. We realize that, all right, Lynn's going to give us problems. So guess what we're doing? Jerry's going to get on the phone, and we're going to make a move to add something else to add to the bench, and then we'll be fine. Since we're playing in Gaga land, we can add a six, somebody to the squad. Because, Jerry West steals all the trades.
Yes.
And one of his best and undercover moves is the fact that he stole Zubik from the Lakers and got him to the Clippers at the trade deadline.
No. I think if you got it.
No, that's his last. I'm not saying that's his greatest.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, if you got to say that, him being able to pick Worthy, number 2.
You got Kobe. That trade works out. Shoot, they should have gotten Chris Paul, but the league.
Let's
and they say Gil has something to do with that, but yeah.
Now looking at the Lakers, you had Magic averaging 23, Worthy 19, 17 from B. Scott, 17 and a half from the Cap. You still had 10 from AC. Coop gave you 10. Michael Thompson gave you 10. Yeah, but I'm looking at this. I don't think Cooper gonna stop.
Worthy's guarding Lynn like he did in college.
And he get no, because Worthy was already gone.
All right, then still, boom, that's what we're dealing with.
Jack say, but fellas, all this never happened. Go Celtics. Yeah, it never happened. It never happened, but the Midnight Rider, he always wants to block my what if scenarios. I come up with so many what if scenarios, and I don't come up with it and just like, oh, let me put this on wax. No, this takes me weeks to put this together. Weeks.
Doc Walker will be so disappointed in you.
Because you gotta account for everything. You have to. You gotta account for everything. Like, you don't have anybody on this Lakers team that's stopping him. Just gonna put it out there.
Okay. Oh, yes, Lord. Basketball is a contact sport, baby. Lord Jesus. Oh, I love when somebody sets a hard screen and you don't see it. Oh, DiVincenzo got folded. He looked like Jazz turning into a Porsche, whatever Jazz is. Woo. Sorry.
Jack say I'm cool. What ifs? Because I bring up a lot of what if scenarios on this show. I really do.
Nah, we did a what ifs on All In Sports. Jack and I filling in for Lee Ice, who was on assignment, And we talked about guys like, I think our conversation talked about Hank Gathers. I think we talked about Cedric Lewis. We talked about some guys that just, they had potential. I think we talked about Brendan Roy. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, Hank Gathers, I did that one too. I said he was going to be a lottery pick. 6'7", could play both forward spots, could guard the center because he was strong, could handle the ball like a guard.
Yeah.
And could score, man. He led the nation in scoring, I think, 2 years in a row. And how do you lead the nation in scoring and rebounding being 6'7"?
I mean, guys have done that. But go ahead. I know you're going to digress.
I got to, because if I don't, we're going to be here for another 2 hours.
And that's a moving screen. It's a good screen, but it's a moving. He moved into him. That's how he got that nice little bounce back.
He said Reggie Lewis, not Cedric.
Did I say Cedric? I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's another one. That's a whole nother one. I said it once before, I'll say it again. If Len Bias had lived and they still got Reggie Lewis at the same time, them two together, we were deprived of the Jordan Bias rivalry in the NBA, but we were also deprived of Jordan Pippen versus Bias Lewis. That right there would have been the rivalry of the 90s, and that would have put the Celtics have won championships in every decade except the 90s.
So sad.
In the 10s. But before that, they won every year. That would have set them up to at least win 1 or 2 championships, at least in the 90s.
And the 20s.
Well, the 20s just started, so they might get the 20s this year.
And the 20s. As long as I can say it, I'm going to say it. I said what I said, KG. I said what I said.
That's fine. Lakers ain't winning the 90s neither.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
So no. Because see, you want to indulge in this, so I'll indulge you. Yes, we did not win in the 90s, but let's see. I've seen 10 of my team's 18 championships. I mean, I know you're a Yankees fan. You only seen what, 3, 4, other 27. You know what I'm saying? You may not. This is ground you may not be used to. I've seen 10. I'm just saying. There's a difference when you see 10 and we missed the 90s. My bad. We gave y'all a decade.
I agree, Jack. 20 plus rings. Celtics will have 20 plus rings, not 17 and a half.
Oh, okay. And if my daddy was Wilt Chamberlain and not Ben Conti, I'd be 6'7". So what are we doing here?
925. Oh shit. Man, hold on. Let me check it something. Because you said something that I gotta check. Okay. The Lakers have 17 NBA championships and 1 NBL championship and an in-season tournament championship. So y'all have 18 and a half. I'm sorry.
No, we have 17 titles because we only count what they talk about. That's it.
So
the NBL, I don't count the NBL. Don't count. Just 17 NBA championships. That's where the mile marker is. 17 and 17. Us and the Celtics tied. That's why Dak and his buddy have 200 on the board for whoever gets to 18 first. That's what I think the bet is.
Okay, because I'm just looking and I'm like, nope, the Celtics didn't win one in the BAA. They won all NBA championships. Okay. I'll leave it be. I don't have an argument to stand on. So okay. Final thoughts before we get out of here.
You done killed my final thoughts now because you done got me all riled up on this Lakers thing. And I knew I said, self, ask KG what the question is before the show starts. So you can be prepared. I didn't listen to myself. It's all good. The Nats won game 1 of their series with the White Sox today at 4:00. I don't know what the score is now. Haven't had a chance to look at it, but that puts them at 500. Hopefully they can be a game over 500 when we get out of this. if you're a betting man and you like somebody that's getting hits or base hits, you have to pick one or two nationals. I would pick Trey Lincecum, young man starting to hit, and Eddie Rosario. That's just my two cents on that.
All right, Jack, say good show, guys. Got to bounce. See you later, Jack. We got to get up out of here, too.
Ooh, under the hour? What?
Yeah. WNBA's in full swing. NBA playoffs in full swing. NHL playoffs in full swing. Thursday, when we come back for the Thursday night throwdown, we got to talk schedule because that's released tomorrow. NFL schedule. We gotta talk that, and so I can be delusional and say Washington's going undefeated or something. I don't know, but we got to talk that. We got to talk NHL playoffs. Update that, and whatever else comes up.
Under an hour.
Under an hour.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Oh, well, you wouldn't take the bait. And to what you said about me getting you riled up, let me explain something to you. And this is coming from the heart. It was 3 of y'all I used to do this to. 2 of them are gone. So you don't have any backup now. So I can do that to you. All I got is you, man.
That's all good, baby.
That's all I got.
All right.
Shout out to my cousin Robert. Shout out to my man Antonio. They bled green until the day they left this earth, and they still bleeding green on the other side. I can't rile them up no more, so all I got is you. I've been doing this for, 4 years now? I've been doing it on the show for 2.5. I've been doing it, period. Like, just, hey, man, you got to pull stuff out the air. What can we do to the Midnight Rider today? Let's do this. That's what I live for, man. So,
it's all good, man. I feel honored to be in that conversation, man. But you know that, I mean, that's also a sign. I have one of my boys, like, we get into the sports arguments, we used to all the time, and it was like to the point where we done argued the same point so many times, you already knew what the rebuttal was. So like you'd get in arguments with other people, and you turn into what's his name? What's Eminem's name in 8 Mile?
B-Rabbit.
B-Rabbit. So you turn into B-Rap. So before the other person start talking trash, you just be like, yes, we know he played all 5 positions. Yes, we know, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he got 5 titles. Boom, 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 boom. All-time assist leader. What else you got? And they be like, what?
You kill a whole argument.
Exactly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back on Thursday. So until then, that's the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy KG, the boss BJ's on special assignment. Until next time, baby, we don't do no overtime. We are out of here.